Hello, beautiful souls, and thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Intuitive Marriage Podcast. Episode 10 to be exact. So I'm extremely excited that we have come this far. You guys are early in my journey, so thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all. My little show here is growing daily. And thank you. I absolutely appreciate all of you that are listening and sharing. So thank you. So if you are new here, welcome. My name's Amanda, and I'm an intuitive marriage mentor, and I help couples connect on a deeper level by harnessing the power of intuition to enhance their relationships. And today we're going to dive in deep. We're going to talk about creating and nurturing intimacy and emotional safety within your marriage, and how intuition plays a pivotal role in this process. So let's get started. Now, intimacy in marriage goes beyond physical closeness. It encompasses emotional, mental, and spiritual connections. True soulful intimacy means sharing your deepest thoughts, feelings, and dreams with your partner. Feeling understood and accepted. Perhaps your past traumas play into this, right? If you have ever been in a physically or emotionally abusive relationship in the past, you need to talk about that together. Emotional safety is the foundation of this intimacy, providing a secure environment where both of you, you feel valued and respected. Intuition. If you've been around here for a little bit, this is like my favorite word. It's my jam. It's my thing. It's the reason I made the podcast. It's the inner sense of knowing. It's, and you just don't know how but Now, if you are here already, then you do have an understanding of intuition, because otherwise you wouldn't have found me. Unless you're absolutely curious. You're either very curious or you're extremely highly intuitive. So that this helps, tune into your partner's needs and emotions. When you can feel their energy and tune into them, that fosters a deeper connection. And there's just nothing like it. So how does intuition aid in nurturing the intimacy and emotional safety? Well, it's recognizing some emotional cues. Here's how intuition aids in nurturing intimacy and emotional safety. Number 1, recognizing emotional cues. Intuition helps you pick up on your partner's subtle cues. So even when they're not verbally expressed, you can just pick it up. You sense their energy, you understand their body language. It's just those cues that you end up picking up. Number 2, responding with empathy. Trusting your intuition allows you to respond empathetically to your partner's needs, strengthening your emotional bond. Now, experiencing emotional dysregulation. If you are feeling dysregulated, anxious, worried, concerned, are you creating this? And do you need to seek out some help and talk to someone? So just respond with empathy. Maybe your partner does need to go and speak to a professional, and be open to that and understanding to that and supportive. 3, creating safe spaces. Intuition guides you in creating safe, non-judgmental spaces where both partners can be vulnerable and, honest, right? You want to create that environment where your partner feels comfortable being vulnerable. And that's not an easy thing to do. You need to create that space for them. I always envision it like this. My heart is made of glass, and I have given it to my husband to take care of and protect and keep safe. And he has done the same to me. And it's my responsibility to take care of it and to protect him. So just create that safe environment for your partner. Now, let's talk about some things that you can do to help create and nurture intimacy and emotional safety in your marriage. Communicate openly and honestly. Set some time aside, regular time to talk about your feelings, your hopes and fears, check in with each other. This fosters understanding and connection. Practice active listening. When your partner speaks, listen without interrupting. Don't wait for a pause so you can jump in. I've been very guilty of this, and I still am. But both my husband and I'm ADHD. I've been diagnosed. I swear to goodness, my husband is as well. And did I just say I swear to goodness? I swear to God, my husband is as well. And we both are interrupters, because if we don't get out our thought right away, we will forget about it. But we are both working on that. But what I'm saying is, don't wait for a pause just to talk. Really listen. Show that you value their perspective by acknowledging their feelings. Sometimes it's really nice just to even repeat back what your spouse has said to you, just so that they understand that you're listening and paying attention. And it helps for you to really understand what your partner is saying as well. This is a continued effort on my part, and my husband's part too. We really do honestly try to work on it. Put your phone down when you're talking. Just put your phone down. Pay attention to each other. Yeah, the interrupting. Oh my goodness. We're both terrible with it, but it's usually not because we're trying to be rude or overtalk the other. We do pay attention. But like I said, if we don't get our words out or our thoughts out when they come to us, usually we've forgotten. So, yeah, I think that's just, we're in our 50s, so it is what it is. All right. Now, another one. So, another practical tip for creating and nurturing intimacy is show physical affection. Example, small gestures like holding hands, hugs for days, right? Like 16-second hugs. Don't just oh yeah, okay. Get in each other's energy. It almost will feel awkward. If a hug feels awkward, it's been about the right time until you get used to it. I could just spend days in my husband's arms. So hug, gentle touches, hand on back, kiss your wife's forehead, kiss your husband's forehead, just be touchy, just be affectionate with each other. And of course, have regular sex, that's extremely important. But we will save that specifically for another episode. I promise you, we will go down that naughty trail. So that will be a fun episode. Okay, another one. Another tip is, like I said before, be vulnerable, right? When we go back to creating a safe space. So in order to be vulnerable, we need to create that environment for ourselves and our spouse, our husband, our wife. Share your innermost thoughts and feelings. Vulnerability breeds intimacy by allowing your partner to see the real you, Putting down your guard is very, very sexy. It's raw, it's real. They get to see the real you. And when you are willing to open up to your life partner, that's very sexy. So please be vulnerable, but set a safe space for your partner to be so. Okay, I think this is number 5. I don't think I've been numbering them, but support each other's dreams. Encourage and support your partner's goals and aspirations, showing that you believe in their potential, even when they have this crazy dream of being a podcaster, quotations, podcaster. Please do use caution and common sense, right? I mean, boundaries. Like if your spouse is telling you about this incredible MLM networking opportunity, I may have done that a few times, which I'm completely out of now. That will be a whole other episode. We will talk MLM and marriage. But yeah, so, let's be reasonable, right? If your spouse comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm going to retire you. We're going to be millionaires," and then what? Don't join an MLM. Do not let your spouse join an MLM. And again, that will be for another episode. But support each other's dreams, even if they seem crazy. You got to let your spouse have their inner child moment and feel inspired and just dream a little bit. Sometimes we do have outlandish dreams, and that's okay. Just have fun with it and be supportive. Now, create rituals of connection. So, what does that mean? Well, I mean, it could just mean a weekly date night or morning coffee together to maintain your connection. Have something that is consistent, a ritual. Like I spoke about in the last episode a little bit, I like a certain amount of predictability in my marriage. I know my husband likes a certain amount of predictability in our marriage. I like to know what to expect. And it doesn't mean that I'm not open to being spontaneous. I'm very spontaneous. I have ADHD. I'm extremely fucking spontaneous at times, ridiculously so. But to have an idea of what to expect in my marriage helps me to feel emotionally safe. And when I feel emotionally safe, the intimacy is just automatic. Now, I just sort of want to tell you a little bit about real life kind of connections or examples, just so we can kind of put it in perspective a little bit. A few years back, I used to just sort of privately just talk to some people. A lot of people would just come to me for advice. I don't know. That's sort of why I got into the coaching thing and the mentoring for marriage. Um, but I spoke to a couple that after a few years of being married, their emotional and physical connection it just kind of became non-existent. Like they still had the love for each other, but they just somehow felt disconnected and were sort of unsure of how to get back to a certain level of intimacy. Because if you are away from that sort of physical connection and not touching each other and not really having the close, intimate conversations, there's no really flirting, it can feel awkward and weird when it's been so long. And after realizing that they hadn't really even been talking too much, they'd come home, their regular routine, they do supper, just kind of watch TV. It was just sort of mundane, but a routine, and seemed happy, but there really wasn't a lot of connection. And so when this sort of came to light, they decided that they would start taking at least, 30 minutes just to set aside. It wasn't every evening. If they could make it work every evening, it would be, but just to talk without distractions. And this simple act of the open communication and setting that consistent time together which they were both motivated to do. That's the trick. You both have to be in this and want to make a difference, want it to get better. So this just 30 minutes, most evenings when they could, it just reignited that emotional intimacy, which led to more physical intimacy. And once again, the more that you nurture both, it's a beautiful cycle of deepening the connection. And then they just sort of fully understood once again why they fell in love and what attracted each other. And, getting past the day-to-day mundane life that we all live and work and kids and all the things, they reconnected with each other again. Just start by sitting close. If you're used to sitting on one couch and your wife or husband is sitting on the other couch, sit close, hold hands, face each other, put some music on. Don't have the TV on, put your phones away. Actually see each other again. Look into each other's eyes. Now, another example, we'll just call them Leah and Michael. Leah really struggled with vulnerability due to past traumas, trust issues. She's also seeking out therapy, and she's starting to feel like she's closer to being able to speak about her past. She's digesting it, she's working on it, and she's feeling closer that she can have a conversation with Michael. Now, in this scenario, Michael's kind of more the intuitive one. His empathy and understanding and patience with this really helped to guide Leah into opening up slowly on her own. On her own time, when she felt comfortable, Michael created a safe space for her to become vulnerable. And through having a better understanding of his own intuition, Michael was able to feel her energy and had empathy for her. He really did feel for her journey, and she started to slowly open up, which now made him even more understanding of what she was going through. And it just created a really deep, soulful, intimate connection, which allowed them to heal together. In time, they actually started creating, like scheduling playtime weekly so that they had a consistent time that they could both look forward to during the day. So this didn't happen overnight, but over time, as they built their connection, they started to enjoy each other once again. So they'd kind of get a little naughty. I, go through creating a naughty menu in my program, and they actually did. They created a naughty menu, and they would actually get that excitement going. Their vibration was higher. It's like that in love vibration again, and it's exciting and new, and they recreated that. And it was just coming from a place of being understanding and, wanting to improve, getting the help, the therapy, and just being open with each other. What does true soulful intimacy mean? Well, to me, it's like it's being seen, it's being heard, and it's being valued for who you are. It's about deep connection. So feeling profoundly connected on emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. It's about mutual respect. Respect is huge in a marriage. Valuing each other's individuality and supporting each other's growth, even when they're crazy dreams. Just saying. Emotional security. Creating a safe space where both partners can express themselves without fear of judgment. So in your marriage, what does that look like to you? So I'm going to just go through briefly some exercises for true soulful intimacy in marriage. I will pop these in the show notes. I am working on my website and a platform and all the things. So eventually I will have a place for everybody to go. But right now it's the podcast and show notes and Instagram. And you can always email me. Yeah, let's go through these quickly. Now, exercises for true soulful intimacy in marriage. Let's go through the first one, deep connection. So this is the daily check-in. There's a couple of steps. Set up a daily time to connect without distractions. Each partner shares their feelings and thoughts for 5 to 10 minutes while the other one listens. Uninterrupted. Give it 5 or 10 minutes. We probably need to put a timer on because I come home after a 24-hour shift or 48-hour shift working as a youth care worker. And I can ramble and ramble and ramble. And I can almost, I swear to God, I see my husband checking his non-existent watch on his wrist. And I'm like, ooh, okay, I've overstayed my welcome. I can get on a tangent and he's like, where did you go? Like, I don't even know what rabbit trail you're down right now. So I do have to keep it to a minimum or I can go just insane. And it's kind of funny. And he can do the same, but I'm usually the guilty one when it comes to that. So, okay, where were we with this? That's right. Okay, 5 to 10 minutes. See what I mean? See what I mean? It's just going to happen. I did warn you in my trailer. I did warn you. Okay, so 3, this is under deep connection. Deep connection, the daily check-in, set up daily time, make it 5 to 10 minutes, and reflect and respond with support and appreciation. So, don't just stare and don't acknowledge. Respond. Be appreciative that you're actually having this time together. So the goal for this is to strengthen your emotional bond with your spouse by understanding each other's inner worlds. Talk about what you're thinking. Talk about what you're feeling. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is the mutual respect. Now, here's an idea. I don't necessarily use it's called the appreciation jar. I don't necessarily use this. We kind of do more of a sticky note thing. But we are actually, my husband and I, when I'm saying we do happen to have a lot of communication going on. But we do leave each other little notes now and then. And I love just kind of like the sticky notes. But here's a great idea. The appreciation jar. Create a jar for appreciation notes. Write notes highlighting what you appreciate about your partner throughout the week. Have they done something that's special? Maybe they just looked really great and sexy in a pair of sweats. Maybe they made you coffee. Maybe they just did something nice, took care of the kids, made dinner, just made you smile, made you laugh. So just write a fun little note. Read the notes together at the end of the week and discuss them. That's always fun. Now, the goal for this is to foster an environment of gratitude and mutual respect. And the third one we're going to talk about is emotional security. This is huge for me. As I said, I have experienced, domestic abuse and emotional abuse. And so emotional security is extremely important for me. This is sort of like the trust circle, I guess. It's just sort of like your bond that you have together, your, set intentions. Like it's just sort of like your pact that you have together. Just call it the trust circle. Set intentions to be honest, supportive, and non-judgmental. Share your emotional needs and boundaries. create action plans to meet these needs, and respect boundaries. So, respecting boundaries is huge, and expectations. And I talk about those in earlier episodes. I can't think offhand which ones, but go back and check them out. And have regular check ins to adjust plans as needed. So maybe you need the support of your spouse more in a couple of weeks. Then, talk about that. Plan what you need. Now, the goal for this is to build trust and ensure that you are both understood, that you feel safe, and you feel valued. I'm going to pop all of that into the show notes because that's a lot. Those are definitely things that you can start right now with doing to incorporate that into your marriage. And I'd love to hear the feedback. Drop me a line on Instagram. I'm not super active. I'm trying. I'm getting there. I'm working on a few things. I'm working in the back end on things right now. But drop me a line. There's fan mail. I think you can text me. There's all sort of links in there. So reach out. Let me know if you try any of these or how things are going. And give me some honest feedback, please. So as we wrap up, creating and nurturing intimacy and emotional safety in your marriage is a continuous journey. Trust your intuition to guide you in understanding and responding to your partner's needs. By communicating openly, practicing vulnerability, and supporting each other's dreams, you can build a deeply connected and emotional secure relationship. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on the Intuitive Marriage Podcast. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in the future episodes, please reach out. Until next time, trust your intuition and cherish your marriage. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe to the Intuitive Marriage Podcast and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you, and I appreciate you so much. Bye for now.